once again, I'm making a video. Now, last I checked, had a grand total of 3 people that watched it, presumably all by accident, and by watched it, I mean started watching it and finished immediately, because they averaged 0 seconds between them. Between them being how averaging things works. There is a possibility that my flatmate will walk in. Now this time, instead of being in the ridiculous early morning, it's actually going to be ridiculous at night. You're right, I'm going to need shorts for this. These are shorts. I decided that I would keep this going anyway, because, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. But I thought I would vary it up a little bit, instead of just making it weekly from me shaving. It'll be weekly from me doing whatever the hell I happen to be doing. Today I happen to be making my bed. Now, if you ever watched my other channel, the Shadebug channel, then you may have seen a video of me making my bed. Now, the thing about that is that I've now moved house, but I still have the same bed. I now have a ceiling that is 5 centimetres lower than the last one. Now, I only had 40 centimetres, I think it was, of clearance between the mattress and the ceiling at the last one, and now I have 35, presumably, being that I've got 5 centimetres less. And more to the point, I just realised that not only did I start with the pillows when I should have started with the sheet, but I've started with the sheet when I should have actually started with turning over the mattress. And very important, I've had a massive dent in the middle of my mattress since I started living here about a month ago. I've been very remiss with changing things around. I'm going to have to turn it over. Now this is going to be the tricky bit, because this was hard enough to do when I was 40 centimetres away from the ceiling. Now at 35, this is surely going to be pretty much impossible. We'll soon find out. Not nearly as impossible as trying to get the microphone to pick me up. Probably have invested in a lab, but there we go. Rolling it is kind of the only way this works. You can't flip it, definitely won't go sideways. There we go. I can't actually remove it because there's not enough space here to get it out. And even if it did, it would hit the lampshade. So that's fun. I know what you're thinking. Oh, he's got a big dent in his bed. Imagine what he's been doing in there. Now, if you are thinking that's because you obviously don't know me. That's going to bring me on to my topic for the day, which is going to be dating, and more specifically online dating, or more specifically online dating websites, because I'm sure as hell not doing the first 2 things, but I'm very much doing the online dating websites and services in general. The theory goes that I have trouble meeting girls in real life. Now, a big part of this is that I don't drink, social lubricant and all. That means that I don't go to bars or clubs or anything like that. I do rather have a policy of not shitting where I eat. I realise it's not exactly a unique policy, but you've got to stick to your principles. You bastard. So yeah, I tried out the whole online dating thing. And I started off with OkCupid, who you all know as the people that are quasi-blocking Firefox, because, you know, they like the gay marriages. You're not going to be able to see me for this, but let's do it this way. And that was pretty good. Yeah, started on OkCupid because they had personality tests. And from the point of view of somebody wanting to try and work out some sort of deep personal relationship with somebody, I think that does kind of make OkCupid the best of the bunch. Just because there is so much information on there for anybody willing to put all their information on there. Now, I've tried out Plenty of Fish, Match, the other ones associated with Match, Affinity, Eval, so on and so forth. Kind of tied at eHarmony as well. Now, the problem as well with doing things like Match and eHarmony, they are pay services, and although they do have a free version, it doesn't let you send messages. Some of them don't even let you see who likes you. Now, of course, with Match it's not so difficult, because what you can do if you have an iPad or an iPhone, when somebody likes you, it will show you on your home screen that they liked you. So all you have to do is take a screenshot of that, and then you can go do a username search, and boom, you know who they are. Which way around should this be? This way around. But you still don't really work out anything really about them, and of course you can't send the messages. That's rather weird. So you do get a lot of people. Now, I get the feeling that the reason you get a lot of people is because once you get behind a paywall, the only people on there are going to be pretty much desperate, which is fine and all. You know, I've got no problem with desperation, but it does mean that they're all a bit older than me. I'm not saying I absolutely must have somebody younger than me. Nobody wants to be the old dad in the playground, you know? Looking around at all the other parents and thinking you could be their parents. They do say that supposedly the best marriages come from couples that have 5 years apart, and that is with the man being 5 years older. Now, I do try my best to work within the creepiness rule, so yeah, that's important. I'm not particularly after somebody older. If it happens that way, it happens that way. You know, ideally, somebody younger would be nice. So, you know, we've got got to look at all the other places. It turns out that outside of Plenty of Fish, the best place to go is Tinder. You wouldn't have thought so, because, you know, I'm very much after a relationship, not a hookup. Never had a hookup. It's not really ever been an issue for me, if you will. It is good, but purely because it's a numbers game. Whereas on Plenty of Fish, on Match, or wherever it is, I'm always going to want to look at the profile, try and work out, you know, are they a good person? Do they smoke? Do they drink? Do they want kids? So on and so forth. It's a liberating feeling with Tinder of just boiling it down to would you or would you not? It turns out that I pretty much would for the vast majority of girls. People always ask me, I'll tell you, they always ask me, they have been known to ask me, who is your type? You know, what is your type? I used to have a type. You know, the archetype used to be sort of Denise Richards. It was Denise Richards because she reminded me a lot of a girl I was very much into when I was young. For a long time I said I was a legs man, but really I'm willing to take everything on its own merits. If there is something good about them, you're going to notice it, and I think what makes someone sexy is the fact that there's a possibility of them liking you, possibly having sex with you. I'm not sure, you know, it's like that Lonely Island song, I just had sex. No matter how bad it is, it doesn't matter, had sex. It does kind of ring true. It will be sexy just because, you know, sexy times are happening. Up to a point, obviously, but still. I do swipe right on the vast majority of girls that I see. I've had a match on maybe 5, I think, in the months that I've been trying to do this, which is not a good success rate. I have no idea what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, or anything like that. People tell me that I've got to be better at selling myself, I think. I don't know how that works. They'll say, oh, you've got to write a shorter profile, but I wouldn't want to see a shorter profile, surely. I've got to sell myself to the kind of person that I would want to buy me, if you know what I mean. That means writing a full profile. That means getting all the information out there. I've had a lot of time. I'll keep reading it in profiles. I don't want to run out of things to talk about on a date. How slowly do you read? Because there are character limits on these, and believe me, all of the dating sites have character limits on the profiles. I've hit, I think, all of them. Even for a slow reader, that's 10 minutes reading at most. What the hell kind of date are you expecting to have? What kind of relationship are you expecting to have if 10 minutes of writing is your entire life? Is everything interesting that you're possibly going to say? I want to get an idea of who I'm looking at, who I'm talking to. What does it say about you if you're selling yourself entirely on your looks? If you're saying to people, you know, oh, come and get me, come and find out. If I sit for 20 minutes on Tinder, I'm going to look at probably over 100 girls. What is going to make me stop? Granted, a pretty face, or, you know, just something interesting in the photo or whatever, but there's got to be something in there that makes me think, yes, I want that. And that's kind of the nice thing with Tinder, is that in theory, it shows you the mutual interest you have, and it's kind of more of an organic thing than it is with other dating websites, because with other dating websites you don't see what people actually like, because the things that you like on Facebook, they're things that you weren't expecting to like. These things that sort of came to mind that you liked, or at least that's the theory behind it. What in practice happens is that it's all the things that you either liked by accident or you liked to win a competition. Seriously, is everybody on Tinder likes Amazon. It's amazing. Yeah, everybody likes Amazon for some reason. And it's because, you know, at some point they would have had a, you know, like us to win a chance to win, I don't know, a £10 gift voucher or something like that. The other thing that a lot of people like is things like fun pings and evides and so on, so, you know, those ones that you have no idea when you started liking them, but they keep filling up your newsfeed on Facebook. It's kind of a good way of seeing how gullible people are. Of course, if you're able to see these things, it means that you too are gullible. The question, what it comes down to is, what do I do? What the hell are those stains? What do I do to get girls to like me? Because I've made a career, if you will, out of second impressions. You know, I love making a bad first impression and picking it all up in the second impression. That is supposedly the wrong way to do it. I find it's the more fun way to do it. I like to think that it makes the world a better place if you can show people that first impressions are not all they're cracked up to be. I know my mum, she's all about first impressions. She's all about making sure you've got a nice firm handshake and that you look respectable and presentable and so on and so forth, and it's almost certainly made me the man I am today, where I never ever look respectable or presentable or anything like that. Now where the hell does this end up? I kind of hope there'll be somebody out there will appreciate that. And this is always the problem as well, is people always say, you know, you've got to settle, you've got to compromise. Why should you have to settle? Why should you have to compromise? Why is it that out of 7,000 million people in the world, I can't find one who I find quite attractive, doesn't drink a lot necessarily, or at least isn't a raging drunk, doesn't smoke, shares a similar sort of life outlook on, as myself, wants to have a family at some point, would be nice, because I'd like to have kids. It would be nice to actually get a chance to raise them myself without having to worry about accidentally, you know, ruining some parents' plan of how their child's education should be. I'm guessing all parents have a plan of how their child's education should be. That, and I want to give my kids silly names. I'm not allowed to do that with other people's kids. How hard can it be to find that? I think this is, once again, why I like Tinder, because OkCupid can't do that. OkCupid works up to a point, but you've got to read through the profiles. That's why it's there. Whereas with Tinder, you can just rocket them off. You can just sit there, swipe, 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 yes, 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 no, yes, yes, no, yes. There's a numbers game going on. At some point, you surely have to hit somebody. And that's the thing. I've seen probably more people that I know on there that were old friends from school or something like that than I've had good matches. It's just very depressing not being able to find anything, even when you do that. I mean, surely that's got to be better than meeting up with somebody at a bar. Maybe that's what I need. If it is about second impressions, then how am I possibly going to manage by doing this on Tinder? And with the dating websites and everything, it's all first impressions. That's all it can ever be, especially with Tinder. It's all first impressions. So what do I do? Where can I go? Because, you know, it's still a matter of, I don't want to go to a bar. That's not a good place for me to go. It's too noisy. I'm not drinking. I'm just sitting there wondering what the hell I'm meant to be doing. Where can I go? You know, I mean, it used to be university societies. They made a lot of sense, but I'm 28. I'll be 29 this year. It's kind of creepy. There's nothing wrong with going to university societies at that age. When do you start picking up chicks? Some of the best couples I know. Oh, those kind of May, December relationships. Well, maybe May, December, more like May, July. You got to worry about the creepiness rule. I'm not sure where I'm going with this. The important thing is, no idea how getting a girlfriend's meant to work. I've had one girlfriend ever. It does get annoying. I'm an easygoing guy. You know, I'll take things in my stride, and people always say to me, how are you ever going to get a girl into that bed? And there's two sides to it. One, it's never been a problem. I've never known a girl who wanted to get into the hypothetical bed, let alone the actual bed. Two, it's all about finding the girl that you'd be willing to saw the legs off for and make it a lower bed for. And three, if she were that good, she'd like the bed, because it is a good bed. Either way, I'm finished. For anybody wondering, no, I'm not going to actually make the bed. It is quite the most pointless activity and makes it much, much harder to get into at the end of the day when I'm trying to climb into bed. As ever, if anybody does like it, do comment, do let me know. If you would like to see me doing any other activities or talking about any other topics, then go ahead. I'm willing to entertain ideas, if not necessarily execute them, but you know, got nothing else to do. Actually got loads else to do. I should really be doing those things. Thank you for watching if you did get this far. Goodbye. 25 minutes, amazing.